Everyone, it's Jimbo back, and I'm driving to another appointment, and I really like taking advantage of this time in the car where normally I'll record a podcast or a daily detail tip or something like that, but with this little mount here, it's working out really well. Anyway, I want to talk about, I really want to try to create more content around kind of how I'm trying to do things, right, and my strategy and all that. So that's what this is really want the title of this video, and maybe it'll be a podcast, but I want to be careful with kind of repurposing content too much out of the context of the platform. So, but what I feel like, and I'm going to be a little vulnerable, I guess, and I feel like I've just been kind of plateaued with the videos well, I've never been good at videos. Videos are definitely my weak point, right? I suck at editing just in general. Not very good with imagery and angles and cool edits and stuff like that, and hence the reason why I have a mount section to my windshield, and because I'm just better at just talking. So anyway, but I really have been feeling like I've kind of plateaued with kind of my online shenanigans, right? And kind of what I mean by plateaued was definitely not from a content standpoint, definitely not from a thinking of content or having content to share, because I actually do this. I do this detailing thing day in, day out. So the content is my life, right? So it's not hard for me to come up with ideas and stuff like that because I'm actually living it. But what I mean, where I feel like I've kind of plateaued, is that the imagery and my brand has kind of, the Jimbo brand, which includes the podcast and the detailing business and my Amazon stuff and all that, has kind of, it goes through periods where it stagnates, right? And I really want to get to that next level, but I don't know how to get to that next level. And that's been a consistent theme throughout my whole career in my detailing business, and kind of leveling up with starting the podcast, and then even back to 3 months ago when I started Jimbo Daily. That's my attempt to reach to that next level, but I always want to be progressing, and I think we all should, right? And I hope that's what, if you get anything out of this video and this kind of series, I don't know if I'm not very good at structuring a series or anything like that either. It's always just kind of random. But if you get anything out of following me, I guess it's that I hope that you are always progressing and always trying to reach to that next level, and that's what I'm trying to do. So what I've been yearning for, and kind of one of my frustrations, is that I really like good design. I really like nice logos, I really like nice imagery, and that's been a frustrating thing for me, and probably a big hindrance through trying to do videos, is that I want something nicer than my ability to do it, right? And I know, here's another hard part, is that I know what I want, but I don't know how to say what I want. So when I go to a designer or a video editor or a graphic designer or whatever, and they ask, so what do you like? It's like, well, I don't really know, but I know what I like when I see it. So I do feel like, to get myself to the next level, and I've been really pushed by Heather, my wife, to start taking stuff off my plate that isn't imperative to the content, right? It doesn't hurt the content, it just helps me on the back end. And a lot of people, I've been emailing people back and forth with Jimbo Daily, and they're like, wow, I'm surprised you're packing the orders. It's like, yeah, I detail, I consult as a chemical consultant for a blender, I do the podcast, I do these videos, and I'm not trying to brag, it's just that I'm a control freak. So I do it all myself because I don't feel like other people will do it right. And so, and not only do I not feel like they'll do it right, but I feel like that is a speed bump in the speed at which I like to operate to get stuff done. So I've been really hindered by the fact that I do everything. So I record the video, but I also will edit the video, and I will also post the video, and I will also add the links to the video in the description and think of the title. And same with the podcast. I record the podcast, then I edit or don't edit, whatever, the podcast, and I upload it, schedule it, create the thumbnail, do all of it myself, and that all takes time. And it what I'm realizing is that, more importantly, it drains me, right? And I think that's, if you're running a detailing business or trying to get it off the ground, when you're the admin, the scheduler, the bookkeeper, the detailer, the customer service tech, the everything, which on the podcast with Adam we talked about, or Adam brought up, and I totally agreed with him, that it's a very DIY culture. So that DIY-ness has led to everything that I've been doing. So I build my own websites. I guess the first thing I really partnered on and took on with someone else was, and is, the Detailer Inner Circle, where Pete's not an employee by any stretch of the imagination, more of a partner. But even then, releasing a little bit of control to my audience is continues to be extremely difficult for me, right? So what I'm trying to do is scale up my business, but in scaling it up, I'm having to release some control and then come to the realization that it's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if the hashtags underneath the Instagram posts aren't perfect, because guess what? I'm not good at Instagram either. So because I'm not good at it, I just don't do it, right? And then when I do it, it's an extreme struggle, and then I'm completely wiped out. Whereas when I record a podcast episode, and I think there's some good lessons in here, when I record a podcast episode, I'm energized by it and I want to do it more. Or when I do these videos, even though I suck at doing video, when I kind of hack the way to do the video so it doesn't take up extra time by putting a stupid mount on my windshield, I'm actually energized by sharing this information, and I want to do more and more and more. But then when it goes to post edit and then posting, I just get drained, right? So once I started to realize that, I got to the realization of, well, can I hire someone to do that for me then? Can I create the video, pass it off to a video editor, they kind of splice it together, maybe add some stuff from my other videos and splice it in and add a cool intro, cool outro, and can I be more effective in that? So that's where I'm at right now. So though I haven't really scaled my detailing business, but I have in a way where I had to kind of hack that, because again, I'm a control freak. I wasn't willing to let go of my clients to someone else, and the few times that I did, I was kind of confirmed with that, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, where the clients were unhappy. I was spending extra time going out and fixing the mistakes and all that. So, but I hacked that, found another detailer who runs his own business, and we kill it together. But for the best way to think about it is my online activities, right? My online business, or that kind of aspect of my business. I've decided to try to take the lead to hire a few freelancers on to in more of a test mode. And I guess this is what we could kind of, if I'm creating a series or a dialogue, or it's mainly just me trying to create more content out of what I'm doing, because I think it'll help people in their business and their journey. And the story is what I love, extracting from people about on the podcast, is hearing their story, their journey, about how they did it, how they got to where they are. So I figured, I just thought, well, why don't I start documenting my journey a little bit more? Why am I hiding, or not hiding, but why am I not talking about certain aspects of my business that people may benefit from? So that's what this is. And so I'm looking at taking on 2 freelancers currently, and I've gone through, there's a website called Upwork, and I've done, an obnoxious amount of interviews with my wife, and a 3-way call, and talking to these people and asking them questions. And the exercise that I thought was really valuable, that I didn't realize going into it, but through interviewing people, you become more clear upon what you want. So, and that was pretty cool. And I told Heather, wow, by like the 5th interview, it was like, wow, on the first interview, wasn't clear on what I wanted. And that's always been my problem, is not being able to be clear on what I want. So then it's hard to get that if I don't know what I want. But by like the 5th interview, I was like crystal clear on what I wanted. Like, so I could interview better and get better candidates because I knew now what I wanted, right? So anyway, we used a website called Upwork, freelancers from across the world that you can hire at all different price points, all different skill levels, all that. And that's cool, but I actually ended up finding someone through a different network, had a phone interview, just went phenomenal. So I'm going to be trying this person out. They're going to be handling the Auto Detailing Podcast Instagram feed for now, and maybe some videos, but because I'm a control freak, I need to kind of onboard the person without relinquishing full control, which I actually think is a good strategy. And the idea is that I feel like I can capture a lot of people through Instagram that may know about the podcast, may not, but actually capture a bigger audience and utilize that platform. Because another thing I've been thinking too is I don't want to be so heavily dependent upon one social platform. So if I can, just like I don't want to be completely dependent upon one source of income, I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket socially. So that's why I do videos like this. That's why I have the podcast. That's why I want to take advantage of Instagram more, but I don't like Instagram. So I'm trying to outsource that. I'm trying to onboard the person to handle that. The guy's US based, different time zone, but US based, so I can communicate, text, do all that, and I have content because I'm constantly detailing and working on products and consulting with a chemical manufacturer and a blender and doing that. But so I got that going. That person starts June 1st, and will technically be one of the first. Well, I have a logo designer as well who freelances for me. So I guess technically this would be the second employee. Third employee that I'm in talks with right now is a straight graphic designer. All he does is graphics, separate from my logo designer. And this guy's actually local to me, who I've known for a really long time, and been a big fan of his work. Just didn't put two and two together, I don't know why. So I have my logo designer, who's actually based in Tennessee, who does a phenomenal job. His name is Chris. The social media guy, his name is Corey. He's East Coast as well. And I love having guys that are domestic because I can text them. Communication is key. Corey's been in the automotive field for a long time, so he's got a handle on that, which was my issue with a lot of the guys that we interviewed on Upwork, was they weren't in the automotive space, so they were kind of confused by what was cool, what was not cool, and I didn't want that at all. I wanted someone that was well versed in automotive in general. And so my logo guy, who's recreating a new logo for the podcast, he's the guy that did the JIMBO logo. I don't have a hat in here, but he did the JIMBO logo, and he's recreating a podcast logo, and from that we're going to branch into shirts and apparel, and even I'm looking into clothing, even so like shorts and pants and kind of detailing efficient apparel, which is actually a good little verbiage I just put together. Efficient apparel, detailing efficient apparel. Interesting. And so social media guy, logo designer, and then graphic designer. And the thought behind that is that I could have my graphic guy, who's local to me, just met up with him, had a phenomenal 2-hour not really an interview, meeting. It was not an interview at all. I just wanted to collaborate with him. Had a great meeting with him yesterday, and the idea with him is that he could be quick and on the spot. So the idea with him is that I'll have him on a monthly retainer creating X amount of graphics per month that will be uploaded to a Dropbox shared file with my social media manager guy, and then ideally I'm out of the picture a little bit and relieved from creating as much content. But mixed into my Instagram feed will be extremely cool graphics. And I feel like that's one thing that's really lacking, I'll just be honest, in the detailing industry, because it's such a DIYer industry, and I'm a DIYer and a control freak and OCD and ADHD and all the D's and H's and all of them, right? That because we want to do it ourselves, we're limited by our knowledge and our creativity and our abilities. So, and that is something very hard to relinquish. But that's also where I see the white space in the detailing industry. And then also as well, living in Southern California, I'll just be honest, the car culture here is insane, and the weather's awesome, and it's a cool place to be. And I really want to capture the culture of the area I live mixed in with detailing cars, cleaning cars, just take more advantage of the lifestyle. So anyway, I have no idea if this video completely sucks. It probably does, and that's fine. But documentation and kind of the story behind the brand, I think, is important. At least I hope it's important. It's important to me, documenting this, even if it's for no one else other than my kids, because all these files go in a Dropbox and they'll be able to share it with their kids and their grandkids and all that. But so that's where I'm at right now, really trying to ramp up and get to the next level. So I think I'm hoping to get there. I think this is the right direction. It's definitely been a process to get to this, and by the process I mean just me relinquishing control and coming to the realization that, you know, what got me here isn't necessarily what's going to get me there. So I hope to really I hope you come along for the journey, right, to see where this progresses, and it's going to be interesting. And I've really taken the mindset that I'm going to do the podcast, I'm going to do videos, I'm going to talk detailing, I'm going to go, 10 miles deep in the detailing industry for the rest of my life, right? Because I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most creative, I'm probably not the hardest worker, even though I would definitely fight someone on that, because I kind of pride myself on being able to pump out a lot of work, and having a high capacity for work. And so, but I'm definitely not the smartest, definitely not the most creative, definitely not the most strategic. So I have to rest on what I'm not a good editor. I have all these flaws. So I have to rest on the things that I am good at. I do the content, I create content every day through my line of work. I love doing it. I love cleaning cars. I love detailing cars. I love people. And I thought, you know what? And let me do the things that I'm energized by, hire people to do the things that drain me, and that will maybe get me to the next level. So we'll see. If you care to follow along, obviously you could subscribe to this channel. That'd be awesome. Vanity metrics are my favorite. I love seeing that subscriber count go up. But more importantly, it's just kind of, we're all on this journey together. Maybe we can all learn from each other. So if you see my videos get better, you see my graphics get better, if you want to follow along on the Auto Detailing Podcast Instagram page, I almost gave up my personal Instagram and then I just couldn't do it at all. So my personal Instagram stays personal. And that was a whole thing that I learned too, is that I had my wife trying to do it for a little while. And honestly, I was just completely drained by trying to create content for it because it wasn't me. So it just wasn't my style. So that's why we thought, let's bring in a third party. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. And I hope you follow along. See ya.